Phase Change Unit Lesson 4.4, Writing a Scientific Argument, Activity 2, Using the Reasoning Tool. Which statement did you choose in order to make the argument more convincing? You might respond, the first and or third statements. The first and third statements provide more information about the claim and evidence. The two remaining statements give information about Titan or the Cassini probe, but they do not connect to the evidence or help support the claim. Remember that convincing arguments include claims, evidence, and reasoning. Reasoning shows how evidence supports the claim. The argument from the warm-up states a claim and describes evidence, but is missing statements that explain how the evidence supports the claim. The original argument would be stronger if the writer explained how the two evidence cards work together to show that the amount of kinetic energy in the lake had increased. After scientists make a claim, they connect evidence to the claim using a reasoning process. This makes their argument more convincing. So, did the methane lake on Titan evaporate or freeze before the second photo was taken? Claim, the lake evaporated before the second photo was taken. Evidence. Evidence card C stated it had been summer for 7 years when the second photo was taken. Evidence card D stated that more energy is transferred to the lake in the summer than in other seasons. These are reasoning statements. The statements explain how the evidence supports the claim. When used together, the evidence cards show that the amount of energy in the lake increased. Once enough energy was transferred into the lake, kinetic energy could overcome the attraction of the methane molecules and cause the lake to evaporate. When writing an argument, you're trying to explain your thinking in a way that convinces someone else it's the best explanation. This practice is called reasoning. The Universal Space Agency needs to evaluate which claim the evidence best supports. To do this, you'll apply what you've learned about phase change. Let's review a sample reasoning tool together. Did the methane lake on Titan evaporate or freeze before the second photo was taken? Notice the evidence cards, C and D, under the evidence column. Why does this matter? The reasoning statements are in the middle column, and therefore the claim, the lake evaporated. How to coordinate evidence. You can explain how the evidence works together to best support the claim. This connecting statement is more convincing than the individual reasoning statements. Think about how evidence can work together to best support a claim is also an important part of the reasoning process. Okay, notice in the circle, evidence cards C and D, this evidence shows that the warmer season on Titan caused the energy in the lake to increase enough to overcome the attraction of the methane molecules. As a result, the lake evaporated. Let's review how to complete the reasoning tool. First, you will record the claim you selected in the right-hand column. Then, you will review your evidence cards and select the evidence that best supports or refutes this claim. You will record it in the left-hand column. Next, you will record up to 3 pieces of additional evidence that could further support or refute your claim. You'll record them in the rows below. Finally, you will explain how each piece of evidence either supports or refutes your claim. You'll record your explanations in the middle column. Review your evidence cards, annotations, and diagrams. If you haven't already selected the claim you feel is the strongest and the evidence that best supports the claim, do so now. Consider any evidence that clearly refutes the claim. If your thinking has changed, you can reorder the evidence cards. Begin working on your reasoning tool. You're encouraged to discuss thinking with a partner before completing the reasoning tools. You can include 2 pieces of evidence in the same box if you think combining them makes the evidence more convincing. End of activity.